What's your shirt?
I'm excited today. I'm excited today. Oh, I've been waiting for this episode for a long time now. I've been waiting for a long time for this episode.
He's not lying.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. Before I get in my bag, hold on. So, hello viewers, hello listeners, hello everybody. New episode 6300 here, episode 43. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Follow us wherever you find us on IG, Section.300. Find us on Twitter at Section300pod. Here on YouTube, we appreciate all the views we've been getting here, all the commentary we've been getting here. Subscribe to our page, drop comments, review, rate, all that kind of shit. We appreciate all the love you've been showing, and we're going to keep this thing going. Now, had to get that out the way first, be professional, do a proper introduction. And now, I've been waiting for this episode. So, we are joined by Boston analyst and friend of the show, Matt Brennan. How are you doing? How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm good. The Yankees just got knocked out. Lifted my spirits. That was nice.
That's good. That's good. Matter of fact, we're gonna hold off on what I want to say, and we'll start with that. So we have the Yankees getting knocked out of the World Series run, playoffs, whatever y'all call it. I don't know baseball terms like that yet. But anyways, that's going on. Yankees just got knocked out. So now we're here at the World Series with the Astros and the Nationals. And I think you two are more baseball than I am, so I'm gonna kind of back off real quick. Okay. What do you guys think of what we got for the finale?
I think it should be a pretty good matchup just because of what the Nationals have showed to this point in the playoffs. Like their starting rotation has given them gems almost every game. So that starting rotation going against like the heavyweight hitters of the Astros should be a good combination of games. They're gonna need the Nationals are gonna need their hitting to show up. And they've had a good amount of time like off since they swept their round of the NLCS. So hopefully there's no rust there. I'm sure there'll be jitters because it's the World Series and everything, but it should be a good matchup. I would still favor the Astros probably since they'll be at home. Maybe like Astros in 5.
Really?
Oh, wow. Thinking a quick series.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it'll be entertaining though.
Yeah, I think it'll be really good. I think the pitching matchup is definitely what I'm looking forward to because, like you were saying there, the Nationals rotation was killing it, through their whole run so far. And, obviously with Cole and Verlander and Greinke, the Astros should be up to par with that as well. So, yeah. And then I'm pretty sure Garrett Cole is going to be a free agent after this year too. Yeah, so that'll be really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, could be his last couple games as an Astro.
Yeah, he's like 19-0 in his last 19 starts. So that should be a guaranteed win, whichever game he pitches. I think he's pitching game 1, but
yeah. I'm pretty sure he will. He was gonna do game 7, so.
That's crazy. So I'm definitely going to be watching that one, glued to my seat for that one. A lot of good stuff that's going on in that series. A lot of good stuff going on in baseball right now. I think we talked about it before, but Matt wanted to add your input to it. With the Nationals making the World Series, how does this make Bryce Harper look? I think that's a lot of discussion going on right now. How are we supposed to hold these superstars when they leave a team and the team ends up going to the World Series just right after that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bryce leaving is kind of what they needed. Honestly, it allowed them to kind of usher in Juan Soto as the face of the franchise, and he's been, as Dodgers fans know, he's been killing it. So it kind of allowed them to have really an identity change, I think, and they have been a team that notoriously just choked every single time they're in the playoffs.
That's true.
And it's not all just because of Bryce, but the identity change, probably a culture change along with that. I think that was kind of the refresh they needed.
Yeah. Definitely. And I don't know, how long has their manager been there? Do you know?
I don't
know if he's fairly new because he's done some pretty good game managing so far in the playoffs as well. Because they have a really weak bullpen, but they've made it work with their starters coming out of the pen and everything kind of thing. So he's done pretty well. And it's their first World Series appearance in franchise history. I think they've been around 15 years in DC. So it's exciting for that franchise, that city. So
exactly. And DC was kind of tortured for a little bit until the Capitals, and then The Mystics just won the WNBA championship, so
Right.
they could have a nice little run here.
Yeah, so Washington's in good shape right now. Hopefully, like you said, like got some good teams coming together. Hopefully the Redskins and the Wizards can follow suit and bounce back and get back on track. But besides that, Nationals looking good, and hopefully they put on a good show for us in the World Series. So definitely looking forward to that. And something else I'm very excited about is the rest of this NFL season. We're gonna get to our Boston stuff for sure. But I wanted to get all the other stuff out the way first.
Okay.
So with the NFL things going on, I turn to my screen right now, and my Ravens are playing the Seahawks right now. It's just third quarter. It's tied up at 13. A real good game. Dogfight going on right now. I love what I'm seeing from both sides. I love games like these. Earl Thomas returns to Seattle and has been showing out so far.
Right.
Marcus Peters, who just got traded to us in the Jalen Ramsey trade, which we'll bring up in a second, just had a pick six on Russell Wilson, which gave us guys to the 13 points that we're at now. So defense looking good. Offense, Lamar Jackson's making things happen the best he can against this tough Seattle team. So I'm loving what I'm seeing, and I hope we get the victory. Across the rest of the league, though, something that's been major that I want to really talk about is the injuries that's going on, and not just in general, specifically with the quarterbacks. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks drop this year.
Yeah.
And it's funny because usually all these quarterbacks that have dropped have been, or at least a majority of them, have been these pocket passer quarterbacks. Big Ben, Matt Ryan today, Drew Brees, all these quarterbacks that have been getting injured. Pat Mahomes is more of a dual threat, but still he's more of a passer than anything.
Right.
So it's just interesting when we have this stigma with the running quarterbacks that they're the ones that are going to get hurt all the time. When we see this year, it's actually the pocket passers that are getting beat up. So is this a signal of a changing of the guard in regards to how we value types of quarterbacks, or is this just an anomaly amongst the current seasons that have been taking place?
I don't know. You want to take that, Matt?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's more of an anomaly. Just because like quarterbacks are always getting hurt, when you're talking about like it's usually running quarterbacks, obviously like Robert Griffin would be like he was the first name that popped into my head,
Right. Cam Newton.
Cam Newton's always getting beat up, and then Mahomes hurt himself on a QB sneak, right?
Yeah.
So that was even I don't know. That just to me seemed like
that QB sneak shouldn't have been called.
Exactly. No, that's what I was getting to. Like that just seemed like a bad play call. He already had a bum ankle. Like,
right.
Yeah. That's just not what you want to do.
Right.
And I say that like the last week's Patriots game, Brady rushed him for 2 touchdowns.
That was like he did like 5 QB sneaks.
Yeah. Like as a fantasy owner, I'm cool with that. But
again,
at the end of the day, he's like 42, I think. So I don't know if I want that damage done to him.
And to your point before, he doesn't have an ankle injury that was already bothering him.
Right.
So when you already have someone that's already hurt, you shouldn't be putting him in that situation. He has too much talent to have to do that. You can pass the ball some kind of way. You have 3 good running backs back there. You can hand it off some kind of way. You didn't have to do that. So just want to add that.
Yeah. But I think I agree with what Matt said as far as it being an anomaly as well. I mean, because like I feel like there's been a lot of emphasis in the last couple of years just to try to protect the quarterback too. Like they have all these like roughing the passer calls that are a little suspect week in and week out too. Like they're like uber protective of the quarterback, but it just seems like this has been a year where a lot of them have gone down on kind of some of them have been like kind of freak injuries too, like Drew Brees like thumb too. Like you don't expect that really. Yeah. So
and I mean other than Mahomes, like all the names that you mentioned and the guys that have been going down are either like someone like Cam Newton, for someone who runs as much as he does, like that that's just going to put more like wear on your tires, so to speak. So I would kind of consider him like an older quarterback at this point. And then, like Matt Ryan's older, Drew Brees, obviously. So I think it's kind of like the wave of quarterbacks that we're so used to and that are like kind of the faces of the league. Like they are kind of aging out. So I think the injuries are going to come with that.
Right. And like I mentioned, Matt Ryan was the latest to go down today after I just traded for him in my fantasy league today. He goes down with the ankle injury, booted up. I'm lucky, though, because I have Matt Stafford as well, who put up like 40 fantasy points. So I'm still okay. But it was just ironic after I got Matt Ryan that he went down. But, quarterbacks are going down. A lot of people are still getting hurt, but we're still getting some good games in the meantime. Guys are stepping up. We robbed Drew Brees. So Teddy Bridgewater over there in New Orleans is doing good and things. So guys are still producing. The people are still making things work, and I hope that we still get a good second half of the season. So that was the main thing across the league. Matt, you got the Patriots 6-0. The Patriots. Who you guys have today?
We got the Jets tomorrow,
Monday.
so that'll be
tomorrow.
a nice 7-0. I'm
Yeah.
not too worried about that one.
Well,
Is that home or away?
I want to say it's away. Let me double check that. But yeah,
I'm not locking that
Darnold
in.
looked good last week.
Darnold did look good last week. He beat up that Dallas team last week. I don't know if that's a lock.
he did. With the Patriots defense,
have a
though,
really
like,
good defense. Yeah.
I'm pretty confident with that. I mean, they haven't really
I
been
hear you.
tested yet, so
Yeah.
but like I also wouldn't consider the Jets exactly a test.
Yeah, I
mean,
wouldn't
you know,
quite
if Darnold
either.
carries over the momentum, then that's a bit of a different story. But I mean, we don't really have a test. I don't think for another couple weeks. So I don't know how we ended up with this schedule, but
yeah.
Shout out to AFC East.
Yeah, the division's already weak, and then
honestly, Baltimore week 9 is the because we got the Jets and then Cleveland the week after, and then Baltimore. So that's it's crazy that I don't even know if this team is really getting tested until midway through the season.
I will answer that for you. You have not been tested yet. Y'all have who's your first game against? You had you played the Steelers first.
Steelers,
and then you had the Redskins, the Dolphins, the Jets.
Yeah, it was literally Pittsburgh, Miami,
the Bills
Jets,
was kind
Buffalo,
of a
Washington.
the Bills was a close game.
Yeah,
because they have a good defense too. So,
but like talking about the Pats defense, it's not like their offense is too crazy, so they haven't had to play. Like that's why I'm really saying like Baltimore will be the biggest test. I guess Cleveland has weapons, but they haven't really had it all together so far.
I'm telling you now, don't let Baltimore win that game.
Why?
I'll be very ignorant if Baltimore wins that game. Just know that now.
My God.
If y'all are undefeated up to that game, then we play y'all and we win. It's gonna be crazy on this.
I might have to mute you on everything if that happens.
Definitely get the mute button ready because it's gonna be a fun night when that happens. So
I think I was a little higher on Baltimore like earlier in the season, but now I'm kind of like, Like they're kind of a little bit pretenders to me.
I told everybody to calm down.
Well, because the defense is a little like banged up as well. So maybe once guys come back too, I don't know, but I'll say it again. We beat the Dolphins and whoever the fuck else, Cardinals,
and they call Lamar Jackson Peyton Manning. Yeah. I was like, can we chill? Everybody got to relax. So I wouldn't necessarily call us pretenders either. I think we can scare a lot of teams, but we definitely do have a room to improve. But just the hype that we got for 2 games, I was like, bro, everybody just chill out. So I get why people are calling us pretenders and things of that nature. But as a fan myself, I understand it because it's like y'all threw so much hype after 2 games that the switch up that we seem to be on now is throwing people off guard. So hopefully we can win a game like a game today against the Seahawks that will put us back up into the top of the power rankings a little bit more. And looking forward to the rest of the season. So that's the major stuff I want to talk about with NFL wise. Excuse me. Going to college football. We had 2 teams that we talk about frequently on here play against each other. We had Arizona versus USC, and USC just blew Arizona out the water, man.
I kind of expected. Yeah.
Did y'all watch that game?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I didn't. My mom went to USC though, so she was texting me updates like, 10-0, 17-0,
27-0.
Yeah, literally. It was like
I think they got 2 garbage time touchdowns, but who cares? I think Khalil got pulled as well as he probably should have. He looked bad against Washington, the game I went to last week. So I'm not shocked that he got pulled this week against a good USC team. So I don't know. It was looking good for a second when they were 4-1, a couple feet away from maybe 5-0 at one point. But now in Pac-12 play, I feel like the Pac-12 is always competitive, even if they're not at the top conference-wise. It's always beating each other up. So it's kind of bound to happen. I think USC. Now we have the same record, USC and Arizona, but USC is clearly a better football team.
Yeah, they just showed it in a big way.
Yeah,
definitely. So, again, I said before, I really don't know how to judge USC anymore. I had so many different emotions at the start of this season, all the ups and downs, amidst all the drama that was going on with them. So, I'm happy that we're winning games. That's all we have to say. I don't know where we go from here. I'm not expecting a playoff push with this. But I'm happy that we are successful. So hopefully that continues, and definitely going to be looking forward to the rest of the season. So that's it with football in regards to just the overview of what's going on right now. Now, as we get more specific with things that are going on, what was I going to go to? Oh, let's flip to the NBA, actually. Let's flip to the NBA. Okay. Is that a big baller brand shirt you got on, Alec?
Oh, my God.
No, it's just a Lonzo shirt. Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't get any big baller brand merch when they were still selling, but
got you. Well, while you didn't get any big baller merch, you are supporting Lonzo. Yeah, and Lonzo could be someone now in the Pelicans on this new squad that could be someone that's on this that could be in contention for most improved this year. He could make a big jump that could elevate him and get into winning that award. Excuse me. Yeah. And with that, that's what I wanted to do today as the season approaches. I want to do some predictions for awards as they approach. So. I don't know. I sent it kind of last minute, but if you guys saw it and you have any predictions, we can definitely pitch in. So starting off, who you guys have winning MVP this year?
You can start, Alec.
Me, it's tough because with LeBron and AD being on the same team, I think they kind of like mess up each other's like MVP run because they kind of got to share. I might go Giannis repeat.
Yeah, I think
Steph a dark horse. If the Warriors can get like top 4 seed, I think Steph probably gets it. But I'll probably go Giannis repeat.
Yeah, and I would say I think Giannis is the clear favorite. But honestly, my other dark horse, and I mean, as a Celtics fan, you might think this pains me to say it, but I still really like Kyrie, one of my favorite players to watch. And honestly, if the Nets succeed, that's clearly, like if they're a top 3 seed, like Garrett, I know you're kind of pushing that.
Top four.
Sorry, not top 3. But yeah, like if they are 4 and say they come close to winning 50 games, like he's clearly going to be the main factor in that. So.
Well, y'all took the 3 names I was going to mention. I was going to mention Giannis as possible repeat. I was going to mention Steph because I like the Warriors still, and I was going to mention Kyrie because I like the Nets as well. So. Those are names I'm going to bring up, but for the sake of adding more names to the argument, I will say that I think if LeBron goes to second fiddle on the Lakers and allows Anthony Davis to dominate, if we see more games of him putting up 27 and 12 in the first half and doing dominant shit like that throughout the season, I think Anthony Davis will definitely be in that conversation. So definitely want to put Anthony Davis in that mix as well. If he plays 75 plus games, Lakers do good because usually he sits most years. He's injured or things. If he plays most of the year, dominates as we think he can do, Lakers are our dominant squad that we all think they're going to be. I think Anthony Davis or LeBron are going to be in that conversation as well. So I want to throw Anthony Davis in that mix as well. So Giannis, Steph, Kyrie, Anthony Davis. That's a great 4 candidates right there that could push for it. So definitely excited for that. Going on to the rest for the other awards, predictions for next should be Rookie of the Year. So who you guys have winning Rookie of the Year?
Shit. I mean, well, I would have had Zion probably, but he just recently hurt his knee, and we don't know exactly what he hurt. We just know he's out for some weeks. So, like, we don't really have much information on how significant an injury it is, how long he'll be out. I'll go Ja Morant then. If Zion is out for a significant amount of time, I'll go Ja.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most logical pick. I kind of, I don't know. Something about, like, I've heard a lot of good press come out about Cam Reddish in Atlanta.
Can y'all stop taking my name?
Oh, my God. No, clearly, I mean, that was kind of just off the top of my head. So if you got something to say about Reddish.
I really like the Atlanta boys over there. They got a real good young squad over there. And I think either one of those Atlanta boys, I think DeAndre Hunter, who they just got as well, him or Cam Reddish could be in that conversation. I think them paired up with them as the third to Trae Young and John Collins, that either one of them can show out a lot in that offense. So I really like either of them. I think Cam hurt his ankle or something like that in the preseason. So if injuries get in the way, then take his name out, of course. But if he's healthy for a majority of the year and can show out like I think he can, I think Cam Reddish definitely could be in that conversation. I like his game a lot. And, definitely think he could be a good piece. So that's something I want to bring up.
I like Ja, too, just because I think he's going to be super high usage. I think, like, they're probably going to hand over the keys to him with Mike Conley gone. And limited talent. Like, they have some young guys that can play with Jaren Jackson and Dylan Brooks and a couple other guys. But I think Ja's going to have to carry a lot of the load, especially distributing the ball. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely gonna be a fun race to watch. If Zion can get healthy too and be added to that mix, that definitely could be a good rookie of the year race. Also, we always got shout out boy Miye. Hopefully he can add more to that mix as well.
Hey,
it's gonna be hard for him to really push for that, coming behind
crack that rotation,
right, and Mike Conley. But if he can get more playing time, I like his talent a lot. I like his game a lot, and if he can get on the floor, I think he can show out and definitely be a dark horse, kind of like Alonzo Trier was a year or two ago. Right. So I definitely like Miye in that race as well. So definitely want to put his name into that. So that's rookie of the year. We did MVP. This is one of the harder ones. Defensive player of the year. You guys have any names that popped up in your head for that one?
I mean, that one also kind of seems like Gobert's to lose, just like MVP. I feel like it's Giannis's to lose.
Is it Gobert's to lose because he's going to be crying about it, or is it Gobert's to lose?
I mean, he's still really be an all-star, so we'll still have those.
What did you say, Matt? I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, he still won't be an all-star, but, we can cry about that. But, I think it's really just his to lose, though, because that Utah team is going to be, I think they'll be a better team than they were last year with Mike Conley, obviously. So, and they'll also be better defensively. So, like, if Conley is able to anchor the defense on the perimeter a little bit better, provided he stays healthy, that'll really give Gobert, I think, a better opportunity to get, like, maybe his blocks number is a little higher, stuff like that. And the team's defense on the whole is probably going to improve as well. So that actually helps his case.
Just thinking about it right now, I like AD. Like,
that's a good one.
Granted, like that he plays 70, 75 games or whatever, but I mean, he's a freak of nature still. I think now they have him listed officially at like 6'9", but he's still super long. Blocks, steals, deflections, all kind of stuff. So I think AD, and then Giannis too. I thought Giannis should have got it last year, actually. Right. I really don't like Gobert. Like, he's a good rim protector, but as defensive player of the year, I don't know. I liked Giannis last year, so AD and Giannis would be like mine for this coming season. Yeah.
Those are all a lot of the obvious names that we definitely want. They're always going to be brought in that conversation. Another one of the obvious names we're going to bring up is Draymond Green, with all the guys that have stepped away from the Warriors with Iggy and KD and all these guys. Klay Thompson hurt as well. Draymond's have to step up a lot on defense and prove he's the defensive player of the year that he once was. So I think he has a great opportunity to prove the talent that he has, and I think he will do so.
I think they're going to be a barbecue chicken on defense, to be honest.
That's very possible as well. I'm not going to deny that. Yeah. But if Steph is on his MVP type shit, like you mentioned before in his race, and then Draymond's playing defense, who knows what could happen. So I want to add Draymond as one of the more obvious names. And then for sleeper names, I don't know why. Actually, I know why, but I don't know if he actually is in this race. But when you brought Rudy Gobert, for some reason, Mitchell Robinson from New York automatically popped in my head as well. Mitchell Robinson's real good over there. He was a rookie last year, I believe, or a year or two ago. And his defense all over there, though that team was struggling, he looked real good defensively and was the same type of Gobert-type guy on that squad. So he blocks shots a lot. He grabs a lot of boards. He definitely holds down the middle. And the only problem there as well, as I think more about it out loud, they're so clustered up front.
I don't think he gets like 30 minutes a game.
If he doesn't get enough time, he won't be. But I thought of him because the talent-wise, him and Gobert, I think are similar. So I don't know if that's a possibility, but I'm a root for him, and we'll see what happens. So,
also, I feel like you got to mention Kawhi as well too. I think there'll be less load management for him.
Kawhi and PG,
yeah. PG should miss some time too with his shoulder. I'm not sure. I'm not sold how early he'll come back as well with dealing with that injury. But I'd say Kawhi for sure, because I think he'll be holding it down while PG's out. And then I think he's going to have a little bit less load management. As he was saying, he's like feeling actually close to 100% this season, whereas last year he was like 75 and missed like 20 games or whatever. But I mean, when he's on the floor, it's no question his impact defensively. So.
Definitely, all those guys are going to be in the mix. Definitely looking forward to all those guys, seeing how they hold it down on the defensive side. Defense is something that in this offensive league I'm growing a lot to like more. I like seeing guys when James Harden tries to do a step back, seeing a guy that can shut that down and force him to be a little more creative. I like seeing guys play good defense. So definitely hoping that all the guys we mentioned step up and play some good defense for us this year. So looking forward to that in that race. And then a couple more awards to vote on. We have the most improved player. You guys have any idea of who might be in that most improved player race?
I mean, I got to say the guy on my shirt real quick. It has
yeah.
a shot at it.
Yeah.
If he's hitting his shot more consistently, I think his assist numbers will be up. It hurts a little bit if Zion's out because I think Zion will give him an easy 3-4 just off the lobs a game. But I think his assist numbers can be a little higher this year. And I think he's going to have a little bit more freedom to run the offense, whereas he didn't quite under Luke in LA. So I like Lonzo in that offense as well with Drew Holiday and BI. I think they can be a really high-powered offensive team, at least in transition. And then I also like Zach LaVine if he can become like around like a 30-point, like 27 to the 30-point scorer. If he
was
can
he
make
hurt last year? Was he hurt last year?
I think for part of it. Okay.
All right.
He's been hurt a lot throughout his NBA career so far.
Right. That's why I thought it was last year. Yeah.
But I think if he like shows out as like an all-star type player this year, I think they have a chance at the 8 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna throw Zach LaVine's name in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got 2. I think probably pretty like obvious pick. I feel like based on how he was playing in the playoffs last year, Jamal Murray. You know, if he just kind of keeps that up, you know, and Utah could be like the 1 seed again. You know, I definitely think he would be in the mix. And then I gotta pick a Celtic in here for some sort of award. So I would actually say
Don't you do it.
Jaylen Brown.
Don't you do it. I swear to God.
Jaylen Brown.
Don't you do it.
The Jaylen Brown. Okay.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my
Is that another one that Garrett had?
Yeah. I've always
No, that's not who I had. That's not who I had.
Okay.
Yeah. I've actually always been, I don't know, maybe like the single Celtics fan that thinks Jaylen is actually better than Jason Tatum. And I think this year, like he's gonna have that fire, you know, lit under him. With all this contract mess, you know, I got my name as
we gonna get to it. We gonna get to it.
We'll talk about it.
But yeah, I personally think he's better. He's always shown up in the playoffs like really consistently. You know, he pretty much like rises to the occasion most times. Like I think he was the youngest Celtic ever to score 30 in a playoff game. Jason Tatum, you know, it was a cliche like, oh, remember he's only 19 or whatever, you know, and he didn't do that. Jaylen did. You know, obviously Tatum has like his dunk over LeBron and stuff like that. But
it's been all downhill from there.
Yeah. So I think especially like the main reason why I like Jaylen more is his defense. Like I think he has the potential to be like maybe like fringe defensive player of the year candidate once he hits his peak. His like effort level and his athleticism, like
hey, Danny Ainge thought that was your guy's Kawhi Leonard, so I mean
I wasn't gonna say that. That's absurd.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wasn't gonna go that far. So I said French defensive player of the year candidate, not
Nice save. Nice save.
All right.
Oh, okay. So that's yours. For mine, I actually have 3 names that I thought of when I saw this award come up, and the 2 Nets. Spencer Dinwiddie, I think, could be another one of those guys that could be in that conversation, as well as Karis LeVert. He might be more of the comeback player type because Karis came off that horrific leg injury last year.
Comeback player, probably, yeah.
I think either of those guys next to Kyrie could step up a lot. They already showed signs of stepping up in the playoff on the short stint they had in the playoffs, as well as just at the end of the year in general with the Nets. So I think both those guys with D'Angelo out the way and then being alongside Kyrie, I think they can get a lot more looks that will help them fight for that award. Then the third name was a sleeper name that I mentioned a while ago to Alec, I believe.
Okay.
That was Jonathan Isaac in Orlando.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a lot of expectations for Orlando right now. They're kind of another one of those teams that are just there just for whatever. They're not really fighting for.
They made the playoffs last year, though.
They made the playoffs. They didn't really do much with that.
Right.
But I think even in that, we saw a few flashes of Jonathan Isaac and what he could be. He has a lot of size. He's one of those 6'10", or wherever the new height listing is. I don't know what the new height is. But listed at 6'10", small forward, kind of that's great on the defensive side and has a lot of offensive potential as well. So I think he's someone that could step up again for Orlando. They need anybody on that team. And I think he could do real well over there and could fight fight for that comeback for that most improved player this upcoming season. So that's a dark horse name I'm going to throw out there, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I like all the names we brought up. Well, all of them except the Celtics. So
I mean,
all of them Jaylen Brown. Okay.
you thought I was going to say Tatum, though, right? That's what you were.
Wait,
I just don't want to talk Celtics. That's the thing. I just don't.
You do want to talk Celtics, but not.
I
in a good way.
but not in a positive light. So,
yeah, exactly. Wait, did Jaylen cut off the flat top though? I feel like I saw a picture of him.
He did.
Okay, so maybe I might be on board with Matt. He might be a changed man now. So we'll see.
The lineup does it for you.
Yeah,
it might.
Did cutting off the flat top have positive change for your life?
Hey, man. It's a different era. It's a different era.
New page.
Exactly. My next chapter, as KD would play. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny as fuck. So, yeah, hopefully, besides Jaylen, I hope the rest of them can really fight for that. And we see it again, another good race for that most improved player. And then lastly, if you guys first, actually, do you guys want to do teams like conference finals and finals winners yet, or you want to just wait? We kind of have to do it now because the season starts. So
do it. Just do it. This is our too early prediction.
Our too early prediction. So let's jump straight to it. So conference finals for both conferences, and then finals. You guys, who wants to go first with that one? I really don't know.
Let's just do like conference champions, because conference finals that could be hard with like seeding and stuff.
That works. Conference champions for both sides.
Fuck. The West is so tough to predict.
Then honestly, the East kind of is too. Like when you were just saying conference finals matchup, like it's pretty clear cut that it's going to be Sixers Bucks.
I'm gonna just say a Wild West one, and I'm gonna say the Warriors, because Clay comes back like March, April. If they can sneak in the playoffs, they're nasty.
That's true.
We say conference champs. Oh, okay. Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. I think you meant like one seed. That's what.
No. I mean like conference
champ.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Like finals matchup. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
And then the East, probably Philly for me right now. I think they're pretty deep.
Yeah, I think the loss of Brogdon is going to hurt Milwaukee. Like, I think he did a lot of things for them, and he played off of Bledsoe really well. His shooting numbers, I think he was a 50-40-90 guy.
He was, yeah.
So, they're going to miss that a lot. That helps with the spacing around Giannis. So I kind of like Philly as well. They lost Jimmy, but he doesn't have a great track record in terms of locker room chemistry.
And I got your Dominican boy.
Yeah.
Al Horford.
Yeah, I gotta love him. So that loss still stings, but
What about your West pick?
I think honestly, I'm pretty high on Jamal Murray, like I said. Okay. I like Jokic a lot. I honestly think the Nuggets could be like, despite being the reigning 1 seed last year, if you can even have that be a title that you can have reigning.
Yeah.
But I like them a lot. Jokic is gonna improve probably, as is Murray. I think if Paul Millsap can stay a little healthier, he'll help them in the playoffs. So I think I'm gonna take them just to keep things interesting and away from the LA teams.
The obvious, okay.
Yeah, I want to stay away from the LA teams too. Like, I obviously like the Lakers, but I'm tempering my expectations for them too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm gonna stay away as well, and in this year of the dynamic duos, I'm actually going to go with 2 teams that I think have a full roster compared to the duos, and that's Utah and Philly. I think those 2 not only have the dynamic duos that we see across the league, but they also have a full unit of great players around them beyond that as well that can help them long term as we go closer to the playoffs and things, and into the playoffs, and as we said, to the finals and all that. So I think Utah has a really deep squad with all the guys they have there beyond Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell, having Joe Ingles and Jeff Green and Rudy Gobert and Ed Davis. I think they just added, and all those guys they have on that squad. Mie only, as I've mentioned a few times that we had on here, having all those guys on that squad, Royce O'Neal, all those guys. I think it's going to help them long term as we go to the playoffs. A lot of guys are hungry and really want to make a deep run to the playoffs. I think it's going to help Utah make a good push. So I like Utah a lot. And then we go to Philly. You guys talked about them a little bit as well. They have a full roster there. Even I wouldn't say better than last year's, but I like all the pieces they have, and they're a year older, a year more experienced. That definitely can help them out in the long run. So Joel Embiid crying at the end of the playoffs last year because of the Kawhi buzzer beater. I think he's going to hold on to that, and that's going to fuel him through the season. He's going to want to fight harder in the playoffs to really get that done. They have good rookies and Matisse Thybulle, and I forgot the one that they added. I think him, and then adding like Josh Richardson is going to help them a lot. Al Horford, the former Celtic, being there as well is going to be a major presence. They have a real good roster top to bottom. So I really like both of those teams. And I think, as I said, in the year of this dynamic duo, we're going to see two full rosters are going to be the two that shine the most. So looking forward to both those
Nuggets, Philly.
Utah,
Philly.
Nuggets. Speaking of Philly too, let's not forget Ben Simmons made a 3. Like that kind of became a joke, but if you actually have to pay attention to him, if he gets to like Giannis level, like not a good 3-point shooter, but like you have to actually
respect it a little bit.
Like that's going to open up driving lanes for him, and then just create more spacing for everyone else on the court. So
do you think there's going to be any type of consistency to that shot, though? Because even with that 3 that everybody hypes up, it was a last-second shot at the end of a preseason game just to rile the fans up. It wasn't like it was a game type thing.
I think he'll be more willing to take the open one as opposed to just like not even looking at the rim when he's out there. But I don't think it's gonna he's not gonna be taking like step back threes like Harden and stuff. Like I don't think he's like gonna be looking for that shot. But if it's there, he'll take it. I think it's something he's trying to build. So
and I don't think it needs to be consistent. All it really needs to do is just you got to respect it a little bit. If he can get there, it opens up a lot for Philly. So
I don't even think that, to be honest. I think he's already started showing what he needs to do. And he's already started working on that fadeaway game. He's already showed the little pull-up game he had.
Yeah, even mid-range. He wasn't really doing that before.
Add anything beyond 10 feet or whatever it is, 10 feet, anything beyond that, and he's going to be deadly. I think he's going to be real dangerous. So he's already cheated around last year with the fadeaway. He seems to be doing that in the offseason as well. He continues to do that, continues to add those jump shots to his arsenal. It's going to be really hard to beat that team, and especially with him doing what he does. So definitely like those two teams, Utah, Philly, and the teams you mentioned as well. So looking forward to all of that. Definitely excited for the NBA season. And now what we've all been waiting for, something else something I'm not looking forward to is watching the Celtics. And why? They get on my nerves every single fucking day. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Every day, damn.
Let's get to it.
It's the off season.
Let's get to it. So the latest news is that Jaylen Brown turned down an extension because he wanted more money. I believe he's more of that Kawhi type money, that 4-year, $170 million.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Yeah. He didn't say that, but he
didn't say Kawhi type, buddy.
He didn't say that, but he said that.
He turned down 4 years.
He didn't want the 80 million.
I think a more accurate
dollars. Correct.
More accurate comparison was like he wants that like Jamal Murray money, which I think is fair. Those are both young guys that you're not necessarily like when you give Jamal Murray that much money, you aren't paying him for what he's done. You're paying him for what he will
be. Right.
Yeah. I think that's like what Jaylen is essentially saying, I feel.
I think even in that, though, you have to show more than what you've shown. I get you as the Celtics Insider that you think that he's better than Jason Tatum and all of that, and from what you've seen that he has a fuller arsenal of offensive defense that he could do that, but we haven't fully seen that yet. People hype up Jason Tatum because we've seen more flashes of greatness than we've seen from Jaylen Brown. So I think for Jaylen Brown to step out and say, or for him not step out, but for him to say that he wants the max dollars rather than what he's been offered, I think it's a little too premature. I think he has to show out. Maybe take a 2-year contract and show within 2 years you could do that, something like that. But trying to go for the big bucks, the 4-year, $170 million, without really having a whole lot to back that up, I think that ain't right. It ain't right. So
I wouldn't hate what you're talking about too. Just if we give him kind of like a Bradley Beal-ish extension where he just added the extra year, because that would give him more money right now. Like he's still on his rookie deal, Exactly. I'm sure he'd like that. If we just give him 1 year of the max, that really helps stretch his contract. So I mean, I think that would make sense. And then for the Celtics too, I'd imagine they're being hesitant just because they know they're then going to also have to extend Tatum if that's the plan. So, if it's like a 1-year thing, it can be like, all right, you think you're better than Jason Tatum, say we can only extend one of you guys. Here's 1 year, prove it. And then when you're both up for the real money, big money extension, we'll make the decision.
So yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be looked at, and that's definitely something that's going to be interesting to watch how it unfolds going forward. More with the Celtics is just that everybody thinks they're going to be a top 4 seed. They're going to be one of the teams really fighting for the championship this year. And I honestly, I'm being as serious.
I'm not that. I never said that. I never said that. Even though I said 4 seed, they're not fighting for a championship.
Okay. Well, that ruins my rant then. I was going to rant and really get into the Celtics, but if y'all already agree, then I'm good. So I really don't see them really pushing for a championship this year. No. They have good pieces there. If we could take off the green and the jerseys and just say it as a basketball team, minus the Boston, whatever. Just a basketball team. They are a good team. They have good players there. I will say that. They do have good talent, but I just don't think that they're going to really compete for the top seed or a title this year. I think that there's still a lot going on there. With guys fighting for new contracts, with guys, there's going to be a lot of egos there trying to figure things out. I still don't think they're all going to mesh properly. I think there's still going to be a lot of guys, even though Kemba says he's going to be kind of not secondary, but he's going to be open more to letting guys do their thing. I think there's still going to be some. Eventually, Kemba's going to want to be that top dog as he was in Charlotte. So there's going to be a little bit of clashes there. And also, I don't think Brad Stevens is as good as everyone hyped him to be as well. Yeah, Brad Stevens being overhyped as well as all this other stuff going on with that team is going to force them. Is going to drop them down. It drops them down in my book. So I like I've said before, around the 5-6 range, I don't have them top 4, and we'll see how that goes as season progresses. So
my main reservation. My main reservation for the Celtics is just like pick and roll defense and just defense a little bit in general, with having Cantor on the floor, and then Kemba Walker also defensively is not the greatest. Like we know what Cantor can do on the boards. Like he can get a 20-20 game. Like he can pull that out of his ass. But like Kemba Walker can contribute offensively, but on the defensive end, he can kind of be barbecue chicken a la Steph. So that's like my main reservation, but I also know that they're playing in the Eastern Conference, which is significantly weaker. And as well as the fact that, I just lost what I was going to say. I think Gordon Hayward is going to be really good this year, actually. I think last year he was still adjusting to coming back from that nasty injury he had in 2017 to his ankle. And I think he's still getting used to it, and then still trying to integrate into a team where a lot of guys wanted to be the guy last year, and a lot of guys at the same forward type position too. And I just think it wasn't the best mix by Brad, the best coaching by Brad, the best leadership by Kyrie either. So I think some of those guys who struggled last year with too much talent on the roster, you could say almost, I think they're going to have an opportunity to show what they can really do. And I think Gordon Hayward's going to be a lot more comfortable this year and closer to the guy he was before, closer to the all-star capability. So,
yeah. Will that work if he has come off the bench still?
I think so. I think what our closing lineup is going to look like a lot of times, basically only when we play Philly, I feel like, of the regular teams we're going to be playing, we won't be able to do this. Maybe New York, just because they have a lot of size. But I honestly think our closing lineup is just going to have no center. Like, it's kind of a joke that, like, Marcus Smart, like, plays like a center. He's my favorite Celtic. I love him. But, like,
real quick, since you're here, I want to ask you a question. God. I want to ask you, is Marcus Smart a part of the Celtics core?
Absolutely. He's the identity of the team.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think so. Like, our closing lineup.
Telling your ass, you don't listen.
I gotta respect it.
Like, when we aren't going up against a guy like Embiid, I think our closing lineup is going to end up being, like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba, Marcus Smart, and Gordon. Like, I think it's just going to be like Wing City essentially.
Yeah. Switch everything.
Yeah, switch everything. Because and then like when we do have to, like, Cantor isn't going to close. Like, he is far too much of a defensive liability to really have him on the floor, especially, like I was just saying, we'll need a center for when we're playing Philly. I don't want Enes Kanter guarding Joel Embiid. Are you no?
It seems like you're not really putting a lot of faith in your young guys either, like Robert Williams or whatever. And
I think he's probably still another year out. I really like his talent, but again, like, I don't really want him playing defense on Joel Embiid late in the fourth.
Right.
So I mean, I guess Daniel Tice is our only option, but I don't even like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's
only
a little
like 6'7".
undersized. He's
Yeah.
he's decent, but he's nothing that I'm super confident with.
Mhm.
Something I saw earlier though was like if the Pelicans, especially with Zion's injury, if the Pelicans, aren't really that great and aren't flirting with the playoffs in the West, like they could try to trade Derek Favors, which I wouldn't mind in Boston.
Okay.
If we're really setting up like a
That'd
home
help
court advantage
defensively,
team in the first round.
defense,
So,
yeah.
but I think in order to do that, we'd have to like trade Smart to make salaries match. So, then again, I don't like that.
Yeah, Smart's untouchable for Celtics fans.
For me, I think yeah, he's untouchable.
I've heard they're trying to trade Gordon.
I would love that, honestly. I mean, I would love if he can break out and everything, but I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of faith. I think he'll be better than last year, but I just don't think he'll ever be the Gordon Hayward that was in Utah again.
That's not true to the MAGA Celtics brand, though.
Yeah, no.
You can't trade your main MAGA man.
The White Knight, as you call him, Alec.
The only way it could work, though, if you trade, the rumor is him for Steven Adams. So if you bring Steven Adams in,
that would be very interesting.
You're bringing a white boy in. I mean, that balances.
I like Steven Adams a lot.
He might not be MAGA, but he balances out. You still get the shade. So
yeah, hey. I would love that.
But yeah, I think that's something I've heard, and I think that'll work for both sides. So that's something that's out there. We'll see how it goes. The Thunder can make a whole lot of moves, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, when you bring up that last lineup, it was interesting because while I understand it, because just saying the names off, we say the Kemba, Marcus Smart, Jason, Jalen, Gordon, like it sounds like it would make sense. But on the offensive side, like with that, who gets the last touch with that? Marcus doesn't, but the other four.
Yeah, I mean, Kemba's the number one.
Kemba. Like, the only other way someone like challenges him for that is if Tatum is having some kind of like most improved type year,
right?
Which I don't really see happening. But I mean, it's clearly Kemba. Like, I think he's the leader now. In terms of talent, I still like. I said earlier, like I think Smart is kind of like the identity of the team. I like how they play off each other as a closing backcourt. As a closing backcourt.
Have you watched the Celtics play in preseason at all?
Not at all. I've seen the Carson Edwards highlights, but that's it.
I forgot about him too. Yeah, that's a nice piece off the bench.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get the opportunity unless someone gets injured. But I was thinking of saying him for rookie year, but.
If you drop 30 in a quarter, you're getting a chance. You're getting some kind of playing time. Like
he can shoot the lights out.
If you do that, I don't care who it's against. You getting some playing time. So we're gonna see Carson Edwards. Same with the Heat with that Kendrick Nunn dude that just popped up and dropped 40 the other night. I thought Deion Waiters got suspended for a game. He's mad about his spot getting took again. So if guys step up and show out, you got to put them on the court. So
I mean, Carson
Edwards adds to that.
Kind of like a Kemba, where he's undersized and had a crazy tournament run, and we saw how offensively powerful he could be when he gets hot. So like, you kind of got to give him a little bit of an opportunity to show what he can do.
And then one other thing, I know you guys were talking about the defense. Like obviously having Kemba or a guy like Carson with the second unit on the court isn't ideal, but part of what made the Isaiah Thomas year and a half so special was that. Brad Stevens was actually able to like hide him defensively really well. So, obviously we then all have a defensive hole at center, because Al Horford's gone, but so that'll make things a little harder to do that. But at the same time, like, I think especially just always having like Smart or maybe Jalen at the two, like a top level defensive guy with one, either Kemba or Edwards, I think we can be like maybe a top 15 defensive squad. I don't think anything too crazy, but that paired with what I think should be a really good offense. Yeah, should be a top 4 seed. I know Garrett's saying 6 seed, but I can't really see that.
5 or 6.
5 or 6. 5 or 6. Okay.
I gave you 5 because I like Enes Kanter, even though you say he's kind of a liability on defense. I like his game a lot. I think he add to it. I like Taco Fall. He's not gonna play much, but it's like you have guys on there that I like. If they weren't in the green and white, I like them a lot more. But I think them being on your squad helps out. So yeah, I think that's why I'm giving you 5 or 6. I'm not giving you top 4 though. So yeah. That's really all I have for the Celtics. My rant kind of got ruined. My apologies, but hey, they agree. I didn't think they're going to agree, but they do. So be it. Now, flipping to me and Alex team, the Lakers. Anything that you guys want to talk about before the season starts? Any other Laker news?
Kuzma's going to be out to start the season. I guess his ankle. It seemed like he got hurt in like August, so I guess his ankle's still nagging him. Mm-hmm. I don't think he'll be out long term, but it raises an eyebrow that he won't start the season. And they've played pretty well without him in preseason, so I think they can make it work. But for them to be a championship contender, I think he has to be a true number 3 on this team. So,
yeah. And then I know the idea with Kuz is kind of to have him be the primary option whenever, the second unit's in. So like with him not being there the first couple weeks, maybe – like who would kind of take on that role?
I think AD and LeBron, either AD or LeBron is always going to be on the floor probably. Right. If Kuzma's out,
that makes things easy.
And then the team is made up of like shooters around LeBron and AD, so like playmaking is a little bit of an issue if Kuzma's not there, because LeBron is like the main guy who can like go get his own shot at any point. Right. So it does make it tougher if Kuzma's out for a little bit, but guys are gonna have to step up. I mean, like we got Danny Green there, we got Avery Bradley there, we got Caruso off the bench. He hasn't showed a lot in preseason, so I'm fearful that Rondo's gonna get more of his minutes again. But Quinn Cook actually looked really good in preseason, so maybe if he's running some point, I wouldn't mind that too much. Him running the point, the pick and roll with AD and
he played okay off ball too. With the Warriors, I mean, he's a good shooter, so
definitely. Were you gonna say, Garrett?
I was gonna say, you mentioned how you think that LeBron and AD are gonna be on the court all the time. I was gonna say a reason why I have the Lakers low in our conference rankings is I don't think they're gonna be playing a whole lot to start the season. There's gonna be a lot of time management and things going on where we try to preserve AD and LeBron. So because of that,
I'm saying one on the court, not both of them. Like at least one.
I'm saying there's gonna be times when both are off as well. I'm saying there's gonna be a lot of times when both are off, sitting down, talking, and strategizing, wherever the case may be. So I think there's gonna be a lot where both guys are sitting down and just figuring things out. So with that being the case, Kuzma has definitely to step up. But as Matt mentioned with this question, with Kuzma out for right now, then it turns to the Avery Bradleys, the Danny Greens, maybe the Zach Norvell if he makes the roster and if he stays around, someone who showed out a little bit in preseason. Guys like that are going to have to put the ball in the basket, and I hope that they do so. So, but whoever we have back there, I don't think Jared Dudley was going to do it, and that's also why I would really like to have adding Carmelo over Jared Dudley, because I think with the second unit, when we need somebody to put the ball in the basket, even if he's not scoring a lot, even if he's out there getting shots up, somebody that's willing to take those shots. Carmelo's somebody willing to take those shots at all times.
I don't need the shots just taken. Like I want them to go in.
Well, Carmelo, I think Carmelo will put the ball in the basket as well. He's not just going to be checking up shots. I think he'll in the second unit he'll make things work. Where we need in the time where we need offense in the second unit, Jared Dudley's not going to do it, but I think Carmelo would. So that's why we'll like Carmelo. But he's not here, so we don't need to get into a deep debate about it. But we have again, the names I mentioned, the Avery Bradleys and all those types, the Carusos, if he can stay healthy and things. So like I said before, looking forward to all the seasons that are coming up. Looking forward to the NBA. Looking forward to all that's going on. And I really hope that we get a good Lakers season. We've had way too many in the past few years. We have like 7 straight, just rough ones. And I hope we finally get a good year this year. So looking forward to all of that, and doubly excited for all things sports, really, as I mentioned before. Lastly, I talked before about an update with the Ravens and the Seahawks. Ravens have the ball right now. Lamar Jackson scrambling down the field, making big plays still. Ravens are up 20-13 in the fourth quarter with 11 minutes left. Right now. Yeah, he's going. So there's another chance where it makes you cautious yet again, because I mentioned before, we have this weird-ass thing where every time we beat really good teams, we get to the top 5 in the ESPN Power Rankings, we play some bum-ass squad the next week and we lose. So we're up. I hope we win this week, but I also hope that we continue it throughout the rest of the season. So really excited for the rest of this year. Really hope that Lamar keeps doing what he's doing because I love how he's playing. I hope he continues to stay in this MVP race. I love what he's doing. And, yeah, I just hope it continues beyond just today. So really like what I'm saying, I hope it continues. So that's my take for right now. Continue to keep updates as the podcast goes along. And, yeah, that's my love for Baltimore right now. So that's the last thing sports-wise. And now, Matt, you were someone that was here a while ago. We did our decade episode. We did all our songs of the decade, talked about music a lot. So you're perfect for this conversation that we're about to get into. And for those that follow us on IG at Section.300, you know I do my 5 for You Fridays every week where I give us all the new albums that drop every week. And one of the first ones I'm going to mention is something that you told me about a little bit. That's clipping. Now, I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot of backstory on them. I found out about them this last week when I saw their album had dropped. Do you have anything you want to add about that album? I think we get a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's an acquired taste. Like I literally think they call themselves like noise rap. It's kind of crazy. It's not something you can just like throw on. But I mean, the beats are like really experimental. And then, Alec, you posted some on Instagram the other day saying it's spooky season. It fits with October. Like I think the album's called "There Exists an Addiction to the Blood."
That was a cute pick, by the way, Alec.
Thank you. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate
it. So I mean, it's a lot of violent topics, but I think the album is really unique just in terms of its production. And then Daveed Diggs is, I think, one of the more talented rappers going right now. Like he can kind of just rap on whatever. He can rap incredibly fast. He can give you more slow.
Wait, is that the actor dude? Like the dude?
Yeah, the dude from Blind Spotting.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite movies last year.
Like from Hamilton and whatever.
Yeah, he was on the original run of Hamilton. I think he's just a really talented dude. And this is kind of like his project where he's just like, I just want to rap, and it shows on this album.
Cool.
Yeah. From what I listened, you texted me right when I dropped my list, and you're like, "Yo, the clipping album is great," and I was like, "Yo, I gotta check, make sure I listen to it." So that's definitely what I got from it. I didn't know the backstory with the actor being there as well. So that definitely lit my eyes up, and that's wow, I didn't know he could do all of that as well as the sounds he's creating on this album. So definitely experimental. Outside of my few artists I have in my constant rotation, I'm experimenting a lot with sound, with music stuff right now. We're on kind of a rocking type shit lately. Listening to a lot of that. So going from that to this album kind of flowed. There's a lot of experimental type stuff on there. Definitely a lot, as Matt mentioned. So definitely enjoyed that album, and definitely that's the one for those. If you're not the one that's stuck on the real rap and you just listen to the main shit, there's a lot of good rap outside of just the core things that you should listen to. And clipping is a great example of that. So check them out. Another one kind of the same type of lane is Homeboy Sandman. Check him out. He dropped an album called Dusty. So definitely check that one out. Then going on to kind of the more popular names that people know of, Smoke Dizzle and Bang the Butcher dropped a collab EP called Statue of Limitations that I enjoyed a lot. And something I love with collab EPs is when you can tell that they were in the booth together, really putting things together, rapping alongside each other. And you get a lot of that feel with this EP. It sounded a lot like Smoke and Benny were in the booth together, trading bars back and forth the whole time. I love songs like that. We had the same thing with the Fly Anakin and the Big Akun Ho G, that Mutant Academy album that I love so much. We got a lot of that with that project as well. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But definitely love that one as well. So the Smoke Dizzle and Bang the Butcher project was another one of those in that same lane. And then someone else one of the more popular names right now, Cash Doll, dropped an album called Stacked. A lot of the women doing with rapping how they've been doing, not on Dupree type shit, but I'm saying in more of an example of another woman that's out here really killing shit in the rap game. Cash Doll is definitely in that lane, and she's showing out in the Stacked album. That was really good. She had a good Summer Walker song on there. Summer Walker's album was great. That dropped. So yeah, they continue keeping on with that momentum, and a lot more great projects from them is coming out. So Cash Doll with this Stacked album definitely is great. And then we go on those albums from Black Moon, who dropped Rise of the Moon. This girl by the name of I think it's Allyn or Allen. I know it's Allyn. Allen, Allyn, however I don't know how to say it, but she's from Sacramento and dropped this project called Needed. Real good R&B album that you definitely should check out. Then another one is Eli. So I don't know how to say his last name. Is it Sostre? If you guys know who that is. So
No, I'm not familiar.
I don't know his name. But one of the more kind of this new age experimental type R&B sound that we have, the rap / R&B is lane that a lot of people have. He's in that lane as well and does it really well. So he has this new project called Eros, Eros. I believe that's how you say it, and I like it a lot. And sticking with the R&B, another person, Kendrick Lamar collaboration of this girl by the name of Anna Wise, who's not collabing with Kendrick on this album, but she's collabed many times with Kendrick in the past.
Right.
An album called As If It Were Forever. That's a really good R&B project. A lot of good stuff on there. So check out Anna Wise. Last of the project I want to talk about and want to take some time with is this new name by the name of Grip. I just found out about him a couple weeks ago. People were raving about his album, and the same way that people were raving about the Roddy Miz album I talked about. This new Grip is a real good artist. To put him in a mainstream sounding, in a mainstream way for people to grasp it, I think he's a combination of the things that grab me. He sounds like a mix of Jid and Reason in a way.
Okay.
Which is kind of both kind of.
Still gotta listen to Jid.
Yeah, Jid definitely has that Atlanta core, but with the real rap type elements to it as well. He definitely has a lot of different styles to a rap and can morph kind of like how Kendrick does, and definitely has his own sound amongst all these new age rappers.
Okay.
But there's also and Grip definitely has that with these different types of sounds and how he maneuvers on tracks. But there's also, I say, Reason, because he has a lot of punchlines, like a lot of real strong punchlines in his rap as well. Okay. Reason definitely has a lot of strong punchlines in his rap, and Reason is someone who, like Kendrick as well, because I brought him up before. Mm-hmm. Kendrick is someone that can rap with all the experimental type stuff, and even with it being triple time with his flows or however he does it, you still hear every word. Mm-hmm. And Reason is the same way, and he's very clear with how he enunciates and does his flows. And Grip is the same way. He could do the fast type rapping. He could do all the experimental type stuff. Mm-hmm. And even with it, you don't get lost in his bars. You still hear everything very, very coherently. I like that a lot. You hear every bar, you get what he's saying, and it sounds real good at the same time. It's someone where, well, I won't be deep diving it if it wasn't good. So I definitely enjoyed it, and that's why I'm going into it. So
That's right.
Grip album called Snub Nose is something that's been in rotation a little bit in the last few days. So Grip, Smoke DZA, and Benny, all those people I've mentioned before make for a real good list this week. We didn't get Playboi Carti again. I'm a big Playboi Carti fan. I talked about it a few times in the past. We didn't get a whole lot of Red yet. I don't know what's going on, but even with that, we got a whole lot of other projects that were great. So again, check us out on IG at Section.300. Check us out on Twitter. Our lists are both posted there. A lot of good music every week for you guys, and definitely check all of that out. Continuing with that, another thing that I was hyped for this episode about before was because Frank Ocean dropped a new single.
Okay, I was wondering if you were going to talk about that.
He dropped a single called DHL, and for the most part, as usual with Frank Ocean, he dropped it, and most of the world loved it. For me, though, I wasn't the biggest fan. I definitely was a big fan of Frank when he started off with the Lonnie Bro collection, and then when you go on to Channel Orange. But since then, with Endless and with Blonde, I haven't really been a big fan of either of those projects. Mm-hmm. There definitely is great stuff in there, but there's a lot of it where I just get lost in it. And the thing with that is something I've mentioned before with Alec, is about how with artists caring too much about the double meanings in their music and trying to do too much with the artistry and not focusing on how good the music just sounds. There's a lot of times where I listen to Blonde. I'm like, okay, I get the thing. I get what he's trying. I get the theme. Oh, using the Dissect podcast and they dissect it all the little intricate little details about the album. I'm like, okay, that's cool. When I go to the album itself and listen to it, I don't enjoy the album for the sounds that it provides. Mm-hmm. So that's where I get lost with the Frank things. I definitely understand his mystique and all the intricacies to his music, as just on the surface level as music. I'm rarely in a rush to go put Blonde or any of his recent stuff on. And DHL appeared to be on the same type thing, where there's another one of them songs where there's probably a whole bunch of double meanings to it. There's a whole bunch of intricate shit to it. That's just a song. It just sounds like rambling to me on a beat. So I don't know. So you guys seem to be mad at me about that. So if you guys want to back Frank, you guys can say what you want to say.
I'm with you on the DHL track, because I just felt like he was just like talking over the beat. Like it wasn't really a song to me. I mean, and I know Frank as a singer. Like he can actually rap pretty well when he's trying to rap too. But
that's my thing too.
I like him for his singing. I like him for his singing R&B. And that it would just sound like he was just like talking, like sometimes like not even that coherently, like over the beat.
And then the thing that confuses me, he talks over it and sneaks one good bar in there, and everyone tweets out that one bar like, "Oh, Frank is back. He used that bar." It's like, bruh, that was one bar. The rest of the song was him just talking. Like, I don't get the.
Yeah, I haven't really paid attention to the Twitter whatever they're saying about Frank. I mean, I feel like that can kind of like ruin your perception of artists too. Whereas for Matt, like with J. Cole, like I feel like his fans and stands kind of ruin his perception a lot as well. So it's like that similar situation there. But what you were saying about his last couple projects, like being more focused on the artistry more so than like the actual music and how it sounds like sonically, Garrett, I think I agree with you there on Endless, because that album is not one that I've ever really like listened to all the way through or really like gone back to. I didn't feel that one at all, really. Like that one was very much so like it seemed like artistry, and I don't even know if it was. I know there was something about his deal, his with the record company as far as putting out that it was a visual album too, I think.
Right.
So that one was, that's like kind of a forgotten album for me. I don't even really listen to it, but Blondes, I really, really like thoroughly enjoyed. That's the one that we had the most like argument over. Because I think, honestly, I looked at the track list again today. I think like 6 or 7 of those songs are like in his top 15, 20 in his discography for me personally.
Real quick. I'm not disputing that. There's good songs on there.
Okay.
You said 5 or 6. And my thing is I like 5 or 6 songs on there, which is a 17-track album. There's like 12 other tracks on there where I'm like
a couple of that is like skits too. Like
okay, so there's 10, and minus Andre, of course.
I said like 7 out of like 12 maybe. Like I love like a song that like I still go back to like right now too. And you said like the Andre shit, like you don't really count that, but I mean that was a great surprise on there too.
Right, definitely great. Not counting that one.
I think it's super. I wouldn't even say super. I think it's more top heavy. Like it kind of trails off at the end, and it gets a little slower too. It gets a little more like not even gospel, but like it get. I don't know.
I get what you're trying to say. That kind of soulish type. Shit.
Yeah, a little bit. It gets a little like dreary, like dreamy type vibe at the end.
Yeah.
And that's more of like the artistry type thing that you're talking about. But I think the first like 3/4 at least to me are a smash for me for Frank. And I love Channel Orange, but I like
wait. You said you like Frank Smash?
No, that's not you know that's not what I said.
I mean, he'd be down. I'm just saying, if you throw him a lob.
Fam. I personally like Blonde more than Channel Orange, and that's kind of a hot take. I think people like love Channel Orange as his best project, but I like Blonde.
Yeah,
okay.
they're kind of like neck and neck for me. But definitely, like I don't know, when you're like, if you had to give Blonde like a score out of 10, like what would you give it? I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell.
It'd be like a 7 or 8. Like, I'm not saying it's not. Okay. I'm not saying it's like a 4. I'm just saying it's not a 10 out of 10 like everyone else claims it is. Yeah. I'm like, I don't get the 10 out of 10. It's a 7 or 8 to me. Good stuff on there, but the rest of it is whatever. So that's why I'm just putting it there. So yeah, that's
what was For Your Eyes Only to you?
The same thing.
Like a 7 or 8?
Yeah.
But you just talked about like how sometimes artists focus too much on the artistry and not the actuals. How the music sounds sonically, and I think that's a good example of For Your Eyes Only with J. Cole.
My thing with that album is that I enjoy the sounds on the album the whole way through. Still, I'm one of the few. Exactly. So I enjoy all those sounds the whole way through. So I understand it's not his best work, which is why it still drops down to a 7 or 8. But it's still stuff that I enjoy, and I've gone back to plenty of times as well. Because I really do enjoy that album. So they're both kind of on the same level. With them coming at the same time, around the same time, it's also works for the comparison. But yeah, they're both albums that have a lot of critique, one being towards way too positive in my eyes and one being way too negative. But yeah, it kind of settles for me up for both of them around that 7 or 8 range. So yeah, that's where I have them.
I'll let you finish what you were saying, Matt.
Yeah, that was a little shocking. But no, because like my thing is like they're just straight up on For Your Eyes Only. There just aren't the peaks that there are on Blonde. Like he doesn't like Cole on that album doesn't have a song that's like near like Pink and White
Neighbors like the peak
Nights.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like that was kind of because I do get what you're saying with the comparison. Like
I guess with
the
that
artistry kind of takes over with both albums.
I guess with that, it's just the J. Cole bias. Like I like J. Cole, like all things J. Cole. I wouldn't consider myself a stan. I'm not going like.
Yeah, I don't think you're not a stan. Yeah,
but I do enjoy his music. So when I hear J. Cole, I definitely like what I hear from him, and I like what I heard on that album. I like what he did with the whole concept and all of that as well.
Right.
So all it came together, and it's plus it being an album that I go back to. Made it. That's why I play at a 7 or 8. With Frank, how you said, there's not as many high peaks. I understand the highs, which is why it jumps to the. So if I had to put it like a decimal, like
right,
40 Eyes Only would be like a 7.1, and Blonde would be like a 7.8, something like that.
Right.
So I understand that Blonde is the better album and all of that. I'm just saying that while there are great highs on there, there are lows on there that bring it down to that 7 point whatever as I just put it. So that's why it kind of drops for me. So that's why.
Right.
I think we all agree DHL wasn't it though.
No.
Correct.
Like I think Garrett, you said it was basically just like rambling and like
yeah,
that was it too. Because like something, I mean, we brought up Cole in comparison with him. Like one of like I guess my critique of Cole is I know how much like he is so talented. Like I've been listening to a lot of Section 80 by Kendrick lately. Like I think High Power might be like one of my favorite songs ever, and that's a J. Cole beat. Like the beat is like so it's one of my favorites, honestly. So it's like he has all of this talent, and then just kind of I don't know. I feel like it, especially on For Your Eyes Only, it just feel like it didn't come together. And like that's basically what DHL was to me with Frank. Like he has all of this talent. He's has one of the best voices going right now. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna release a single for what I think will be an album. Like if you look on the cover art, it's like the silhouette of him with a bag on his head. It's like the fourth one in like 13 little pictures down at the bottom. So it would make me think that an album's coming. So he's like, yeah, the first single on this album, following up what a lot of people consider a classic and Blonde. I'm just gonna ramble. Like I'm not gonna sing at all, basically, and I'll just
it threw me off completely. Just like when I turned it on, I was like, wait, what's happening right now? Like I usually love his Lucy's too. Like I love Chanel, like Lens, Provider, like all those tracks I've usually loved. So it threw me off when he was just like talking on the beat. I was like,
essentially.
Yeah. Also, with how much of an artist that Frank is, us not hearing that in the midst of the album can throw off how we hear how that song is how we interpret that song. Yeah. So if it is for the album, it's the fourth song in that album, and that's how it plays out. That could be something else that flows to something else that actually is crazy. So that's why I think while I may kind of I've been kind of shitting on his albums. I think Frank is an album artist, and he needs an album to put together. So I understand he does Lucy's, but if this were an album, I think he's someone that should just drop an album and let everything explain it itself rather than a single for it, because it makes a lot more sense within the album than it does by itself.
Right, so, that makes sense, because that even made me think of when Injury Reserve dropped their album earlier this year. I listened to an interview from one of the guys in there, and he was talking about how with their process on the singles for that album, like they purposefully were like, all right, well, what song is the least fitting within this album? Like what, based on the sound, like they just wanted to throw everyone off.
What can stand alone kind of.
Yeah, they just wanted to like throw everyone off in terms of the first single. So, I mean, that could be kind of what Frank is doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we shall see. Reports are that album may be coming this month, and we may get it in October or November, sometime soon. I didn't realize that. So if that's the case, then we've been talking all year about the big names not dropping. Frank would definitely be one of the big names, and I hope that we do get that so we can talk about it.
It's been 3 years since Blonde too, so
it's about time. So definitely looking forward to new Frank. Looking forward to all the big names dropping in this fourth quarter of the year. A lot of good stuff is on the way, and as we prepare to close this episode, the last thing I want to talk about music-wise is this shirt I have on, this Holly Water shirt I have on. Can you guys see that Holly Water on there? See that? The album I talked about more than a few times on here is by the Mutant Academy Boys. Those boys, Fly Anakin and Big Kahuna OG. I talked about them a few times. They're my favorite group, one of my favorite groups right now, if not the favorite. I love all the stuff that they've been doing, and they dropped a real great album a couple weeks ago called Holly Water that I had to cop the vinyl for. And they were out here. They are Virginia boys, but they were out here in LA the last couple of days for a couple shows and a meet and greet. I was able to meet them yesterday. Got my vinyl signed. Got this shirt from them.
Lay down at 16.
Didn't lay down at 16. God damn, I'm not a rapper, bro. I'm not a rapper. But anyways, it was a real good pleasure to meet both of them. They're real dope dudes, and really excited for what they have next. I'm not really though we do the podcast, I'm not like the media man or nothing. All I asked was what's next, and Fly said more albums. So I'm definitely looking forward to all of that. Whatever they have next, definitely big things in store for them. I think they're one of two of the better MCs out right now, and they're still getting kind of overlooked. But I've been trying my best to show love to them as much as I can, so y'all can wake up. So check out that Holly Water project, that Holly Water, as I put it on, I got on my shirt today. Definitely check that one out and show love to them because they're a real dope group. That's doing big things, and it's going to continue to do big things for many years to come. So shout out to them, and then another great episode. We hear episode 43. Matt, we appreciate you. Didn't get to really deep dive and attack you as much as I thought I was, but still, real great episode, and I appreciate you coming on.
Already.
Yeah, third time being on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
First time on video. Appreciate you showing your face to the fans. Definitely appreciate you being on here. Definitely was a whole lot of fun. So definitely got to run it back another time as seasons go on. Hopefully we can talk about it when the Patriots get knocked out the playoffs. And hopefully we can talk about that then. So really appreciate you. And lastly, where can I find you on social media everywhere?
I gotta. It's always weird. I screw myself over with the name because it's technically. On Instagram, it's at Brennan, I think. Yeah. Literally just the initials swapped on my first and last name.
Right.
But and then I think it's the same thing on Twitter with just a couple more extra N's. I am really active on anything.
Nobody's gonna find you then.
Exactly. I don't really care either. I don't post much, but I appreciate you trying to help me out with the plug. I don't have a good social for that though. maybe I should have put that at the bottom instead of
next time instead of
I'm learning.
But that makes for another great episode of Section 300. Appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. I'm your host, Garrett. I'm here everywhere at GThomas7. Alec, tell me where to find you, bro.
Yeah, find me on Instagram at Alec Foster, and then find me on Twitter at LakersFan24.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So another great episode in the books. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, here on YouTube. We appreciate all the viewers. Rate, review, subscribe, all of that. We appreciate all the love you guys show to us, and we want to continue to build this page. Section 300 is where we take all the sports and music of the day and talk about all the dialogue and the stories behind it. And we appreciate all y'all that tune in and add to that. So another episode in the books. Drop comments for all the stuff that we talked about today. Find us on IG at Section.300. Find us on Twitter at Section300pod. And that's all I got. Shout out Pastor Wilson. And we're gonna get up out of here.
Oh, if Matt doesn't know, we're gonna have to show him after this.
I don't know.
Oh, God, please end this.